Welcome to
Dr. Jamie Reviews, the YouTube channel where I will review absolutely anything I can legally get my hands on. Don't forget, if there's anything you'd like me to review, just leave a comment in the comment section on this video or any of my other videos, and if I can get hold of it, like I say, I'll happily review it for you guys. I'm absolutely car mad. I've always been obsessed with cars since I was very small, and I've been driving now for 9 years, and I think I've owned something about 12 different cars, so I am a bit obsessed, but a couple of people have asked me if I would just do some reviews of the cars that I own. That's two. That made it sound like I own a lot, although I guess 2 cars, you don't really need 2 cars. But anyway, one's a daily driver and one is a weekend car. I'll just show you. The weekend car is just behind you there. It's the BMW M4 in a lovely Yasmarina blue. So that, like I say, that's my weekend car, my pride and joy. I did use it as a daily driver for a while, but in the winter it can be a little bit of a handful. So what I'm sat in right now is a Volkswagen Golf R. It's the mk6, so 2010-2011 version. So I'll give you a quick review of this today, and like I say, you can expect a review of the BMW in the future. This video might be a little bit longer than I was really hoping it to be, because I'll give you a bit of an introduction to myself and a bit about the cars I've owned and driven. So I think this is about my 12th different car in the last 9 or 10 years that I have been driving. It is my 5th Golf, and I'm quite big into my Volkswagen Audi and basically any German cars, to be honest. I think it's probably the 8th Volkswagen or Audi that I've owned as well. When I was 18, I did manage to buy my first, my second Golf, and it was a Golf R32, the Mark 5 R32, and I absolutely loved that thing. It was unreal. It was the old 3.2 VR6 engine, which I really did enjoy driving, especially when I was only 18. It was I saved up long and hard to get that thing, so that was good. Whilst I had that, they did release the mk6 R, and I remember looking at it and thinking, basically, I want one of them as well, but it was a bit too expensive for me at that time. Normally when a new Golf comes out, I'm a little bit slow to like it, and I tend to stick to the previous model, but with the mk6 straight away, I thought it was nice, so I'd always said to myself I'll get hold of one, and when I realised I needed a daily driver as well, it seemed to be the perfect opportunity to pick one up. Prior to this, I have had a BMW X5 as a daily driver, which I didn't like driving, more just the size of it. I don't think SUVs are really for me. And in terms of quick cars, I've had the M4 that I've got now. I've had a E92 M3 just before that, which was a 4-litre V8, and I've had Type Rs, I've had the R32, I've had Golf GTI, GTD, I've driven quite a lot of nice little quick cars, but today obviously we're talking about this Golf R. So it is the 2010 model. It's a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine with 275 horsepower as standard. Obviously that was a change from the Mark 5 R32, where you had the naturally aspirated 3.2-litre VR6 engine, and I think at the time that happened, it was a bit of a shock to most people, just because you were losing basically all the character that R32 had and then getting into this. But I think the performance gains that you get from having this sort of brought people around to the idea of doing it, and it became quite a popular car. Obviously the R has 4-wheel drive, which is basically the main reason why it's a daily driver. Living where I do, you get a lot of snow and ice and stuff in the winter, so you basically need 4-wheel drive. That's why the M4 was so unusable, which warranted me to get this. There's police cameras just over there. So yeah, so it's I've had it now for a good few months. It has been excellent. I can't really fault it. So we'll go over a little bit about how it looks, how it sounds, how it drives, and I will give you my thoughts on this car. Just give you a quick walk around the car. Obviously it's in black metallic. The paint isn't great on this one, actually. I don't think whoever had it before me washed it very well, because it's got some swirls on it, but it just needs a good detail to get those out. It's got nice LED lights. It's still got the old R32 style twin twin exhaust at the back, central twin exhaust, which they've got rid of now. And on the mk6 Golf R, they've gone for quad exhausts, sort of like the Audis do on the RS models. Talladega wheels, I've got them in all gloss black as well. I do apologise, it obviously needs a clean, but it's the middle of winter, so I can't really be bothered at the moment. And again, so they come standard with Xenon's daytime running lights at the front. I do actually, I think it looks good in black. It looks a bit sort of stealthy with the black wheels as well, but it does look better in other colours, some slightly brighter colours, especially the grey. White isn't massively for me. I've had a couple of white cars, so I do think it suits this car a lot though in white. But like I said, I just got the right I've got the right deal on this car to make it worth getting in this colour. Inside, I'll just show you the boot. If it'll open, yeah. So I'm on the way to the gym, so there's a bit of stuff in there, but good size boot. And then I'll just step inside. The interior is nice, so sort of classic VW. It's nice, it's well made, it's solid, materials don't feel too cheap. Nice seats. You can get the Recaros, which were an optional extra. I think they're quite expensive, but very worth it. I've got manual here, and touchscreen now. The thing with the touchscreen is it's great while you're stationary, but I don't know if anybody ever used it in VW, or if anyone's used one since, because it's an absolute pain while you're driving and your hands bouncing everywhere like this and you're trying to press the screen, so it's not the best thing. And then that's just the back. Again, this is a 3-door. I probably would have preferred a 5-door as it is my daily, just to be a bit more practical. But you know, beggars can't be choosers. I've found the right deal, the right car, so I just put up with what I've got. But yeah, nice place to sit. It's absolutely fine. So some nice views around here. Obviously I have to take it easy because it's a single file road. But I'll just show you actually driving it around a little bit, just to see what it's like. So the one good thing about driving it is the pedal spacing is quite good. So it is relatively easy to downshift and heel toe whilst you're doing that, which is handy when you are driving it quick. So in terms of handling, the 4-wheel drive is great. It's pretty much unshakable. You've got plenty of traction all the time. It's really difficult, even with traction control off, to get the wheels to sort of spin or behave badly, which, okay, it's not always fun, but it's definitely the most sort of safe, practical way to go about driving, especially as a daily driver. Now, when I first got it, I know 275 horsepower is a lot. It's by no means a small amount of power. And if you went back 10 years, you're talking about mega quick cars if they've got 275 horsepower. But when I first got it, it just to me felt a little bit like it was lacking something. Like it didn't really have all the oomph that you were expecting to get you going. And I think the best way to describe it was it felt like like a quick Golf, but not necessarily a quick car. The power band at that stage, basically it felt very turbocharged. I know obviously it is turbocharged, but you could really feel it. So you're talking maybe 2,500 revs before the power came, maybe at its peak about 3.5, and then it was felt out of puff by the time it was 4,500 revs, which it just didn't feel fun, it didn't feel usable, and I wasn't massively enjoying it, to be honest. Other than that, obviously the interior is a nice place to sit. It felt good to actually, be sat in a nice car and driving around it. It did the sort of school run, not that I have kids, but that sort of driving very well. And it had, enough power to overtake and whatever, but it just didn't have that fun factor about it. But finding it a little bit underpowered, I got speaking to a company in Manchester called Bag Manchester. They basically have just started up a tuning company as well. So having sort of called around a few different companies, I ended up having a chat to Mark, the guy, the owner there. Basically, because it's my daily driver, I don't want anything to go sort of crazy. I don't want it to be too powerful and pushing out silly numbers at risk of obviously breaking down. That's not the idea with this car. Maybe if it's a track car, a race car or something, I can understand that, but that's definitely not what I wanted. So having a chat to him, he sort of shared the same mentality as me, where he wasn't about sort of selling me the biggest numbers, he was about selling me the biggest drivability factor, whilst keeping it, you know, safe and in terms of the longevity of the engine and the components. So had a chat with him, went down and ended up getting it done. It's now, it has been dynoed. The dyno showed it had about 311, I think it was, horsepower. Is just this, so this is just stage 1 remap, nothing else done. And honestly, it's totally transformed the car. I know it's what, 30 horsepower increase to 35. It's not a massive increase, but the actual drivability of the car is just, it's honestly a different machine. Now you're talking about the power coming in at about sort of 1,500, and it genuinely pushes all the way up to 6,000 revs, which is absolutely awesome. It doesn't really feel turbocharged from that point of view. It's got sort of the curve of a naturally aspirated engine, so I honestly could not fault them. It's been an absolutely great thing to do. It has sort of got me back into the modifying sort of way of thinking, so I am thinking about now going a little bit further and having a chat to Mark. I think we're going to go for stage 2 or stage 2 plus, so that's basically going to involve the full turbo back exhaust, stage 2 map, and a high pressure fuel pump and an intake. I don't feel like it definitely needs any more power just to be fun. Obviously a little bit more is going to be even more fun, and nice and quick to sort of take people on, but it just needs that exhaust, and I figure if you get an exhaust then you may as well go stage 2. So that's the way of thinking. So I'll be getting that done soon, and I can update everyone with how that drives and how it feels once that is done. The noise is something that really does let it down. Obviously that's coming from the R32 into this, must have been a shock for some people that did it, because you just lose that lovely noise that the V6 made, or the R6 made in the R32, and this just has honestly nothing. It sounds just terrible. When you're sat inside here, you may as well, you know, you could be driving a 1 litre Corsa. From the outside I don't think it sounds much better, but it really does need an exhaust on. In terms of fuel economy, it's very good actually. On a run, motorway run, something like that, you're talking maybe 34, 35 miles per gallon, which is good from my point of view. Around town, sort of high 20s, and if you're really enjoying yourself, so to speak, you're probably talking low 20s, but nothing really lower than that. You know, I can get 350, 370 miles to a full tank on a nice frugal run, which really is not to be sniffed at. It's very good compared to anything else I've driven recently. It's not an expensive car to run and keep, servicing, etc. You're paying VW prices as opposed to Audi, BMW, which are very reasonable, and if you've got a specialist you can use as well, then even better. Tax-wise, it's £270 for 12 months, so again, cheap compared to most performance type cars. I know obviously nowadays they are getting slightly more frugal and reducing the emissions, so my M4 is actually the same price at 270, but my M3 before that was 500, the R32 was 500, so on the whole it is cheap to run. Like I say, it's quite frugal as well, so petrol doesn't cost too much. Insurance was very cheap on it as well for me, so yeah, nice, easy and cheap car to run. The gearbox on this car it's okay. I found it a little bit sort of loose and a little bit stiff to use at first. Now obviously that could just be that this car's done 60,000 miles and it's getting on a little bit. I don't know who's been driving it before, but they've been sort of thrashing it around a bit and throwing it into gear when it shouldn't have been. Then obviously that could affect that. I have had some components replaced and the looseness has gone. Still not as sharp as some other gearbox I've driven, and it is a little bit clunky. It's really not the best gearbox in the world, but it'll do. It's absolutely fine to use as a manual. Now I think in a dream world I would have got a DSG, because I've had DSGs before, and they're great dual clutch transmission. My only issue was in the R32, the actual DSG box started having some problems, and the cost of maintaining it and fixing it was not cheap anyway. So I was a little bit concerned in getting a car with 6,000 miles on it and trying to get it as not as cheap as possible, but within a decent price range. You're talking about no warranty whatsoever, and I didn't really want to risk getting a DSG, but that is really the only reason that I've done it. I would, in a dream world, I've got the DSG over the manual, just because one, you've got launch control, which is always good in a four-wheel drive car, but it's easier to drive around town anyway because you're not doing anything. But then when you do want to boot it and have some fun on some roads, it's just perfect. It's in the right gear for you every time. It'll downshift for you, so you don't have to faff about with heel toe. And I know that takes some of the fun out of driving, and this video isn't going to be about manual versus semi-automatic transmission, but just different transmissions suit cars differently, and I think the DSG probably suits this better. However, I think when you're buying second hand, you just need to be wary about what can go wrong, and the manual, it's absolutely fine, and it does the job very well, and it's fun to drive, and I don't think you're losing too much by getting that. However, you're gaining the sort of slightly improved reliability and cheaper running costs, so just bear that in mind if you are looking at a second-hand Golf. In terms of pricing, this mk6 now is actually holding its value quite well, and it's actually gone up in value slightly over the last couple of years. I think this is mainly due to the mk7 Golf R losing value quite quickly, and that's down to there's basically some brilliant lease deals you can get out there now, like 200 and something pound a month for a brand new Golf R with a very small deposit. So that's pushed the residuals on them down, and as this was a slightly rarer car anyway, it has held its value quite well. So compared to the equivalent Audi S3 from the same time, you might end up actually paying a little bit more for one of these than the S3, which sounds strange. So why didn't I go for the S3? S3 is a brilliant car. It's the exact same engine, same chassis and everything. Obviously you've got different exterior and interior looks. Personally, it was all just because I'm a VW fan, and I've had enough Golfs, and I've always liked my Golfs, and I've always liked this mk6 shape. I just thought I feel it's better looking than the equivalent S3, and also the interior, which again sounds strange. You'd expect the Audi to probably be a little bit more upmarket, a little bit nicer interior, but I actually prefer the interior in this as well. So that's why I went for it, but I don't think either way you'd be disappointed. A friend of mine's got an S3 that's now 425 horsepower. It's the same year as this, and it's an incredible car. So this is obviously capable of the exact same if you wanted to go to stage 3, stage 4, and get it that powerful. But yeah, it's just purely a preference thing. That's why I got this, and I do think this will hold the value slightly better as well. So that's something to bear in mind. Essentially, this is an absolutely brilliant daily driver. The mk7 is probably an even better, well, I have driven it, it's an even better version, but you are going to pay a little bit more for them, and they will depreciate more as well, so just bear that in mind if you're looking at buying one or the other. If you can get a really good lease deal, that's probably the best way to go and buy one of the mk7s. But this car is brilliant. Four-wheel drive is absolutely awesome in all weather, particularly in rain. It really does well in any wet surface. It's difficult to really shake the car and unsettle it, so it's brilliant from that point of view. There's loads of potential for tuning. You know, if you want to go mad and get 400 horsepower, it's very doable for not an awful lot of money. If you're going to keep it standard, it's fine. It's a good car, but I would recommend at least stage 1. You can get that done for less than £300 these days, and it will transform the car totally. You won't be disappointed if you go ahead and do that. So I do recommend that. You drive slowly and around town and on long journeys. It's comfortable. It's cheap to run. It's good on fuel. There's really very few faults with it. Cool. So yeah, so there's very few faults with it. The main one is really the noise, the sound that it makes. It's not very inspiring. It's quiet. It doesn't have much character to it. So maybe an aftermarket exhaust is something that you probably want to consider if you are getting hold of one. That's what I'm going to do next. And also the manual gearbox is fine, but you're never going to write home about it. So I think they're the two worst points about it. I think everything else, it's a great car. It's very capable, and it's got plenty of potential if you really do want to take it further. You know, make it quick. It'd be a great little track car if that's what you had, if that's what you were wanting. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Any comments, let me know. I'll get a review that you can think of that you want me to take out and have a review of. Just let me know. I'll see what I can get a hold of. I've got quite a few friends with some really nice cars, so I'll be getting in touch with them in the future anyway, just to see if they'll let me take them out for a spin and get you guys a review. So yeah, let me know, and thank you very much for watching.